some fantastic ones from the business world. There is a brand of water, bottled water, that is going through the roof. It's basically the #1 selling bottled water brand, and that is DASANI. And it's a giant blue bottle, on giant blue vending machines. Well, blue equals 40, and DASANI equals 48. So they have a winning name in the mind of God. God is blessing the sale and the proliferation of the name DASANI, because while he does that, he glorifies Jesus mathematically through the roof and all the universe. So as DASANI proliferates, it increases the mathematical glory of Jesus in all the earth. So now you're understanding how God works and how he blesses certain things to maximize the glory of his son Jesus before millions of watching angels. Billions, in fact. So DASANI equals 48. And furthermore, DASANI is blue. Okay? Blue is God's favorite color, basically. Blue equals 40. So a blue DASANI equals 88 exactly. Have these guys hit it right on the head? Yes, they have. Probably without knowing, or totally without knowing, but all they know is their blue DASANI bottles are selling like hotcakes, and they can't crank these vending machines out fast enough to get them in every single schoolhouse, every single government building, every single mall, every single public place on earth, basically, to sell DASANI bottled water. Every grocery store, it's just unstoppable. You've got a blue bottle, blue equals 40, DASANI equals 48, blue DASANI equals 88 exactly. They've hit it perfectly, the King of the universe is pleased, and he's just blessing their sales like crazy. Why? So that the mathematical glory of the name of Jesus in all the universe is increased maximally before all the millions of watching angels that are watching this story of God playing out and seeing just how much Jesus is going to glorify himself in every single corner of society and every single realm of world history. So I recommend that you take a trip to the grocery store and buy a blue bottle of DASANI water today, and know that you are just staring at something that brings glory to Jesus equals 88, and the reason it's selling so well is for that reason. They picked the perfect name that glorifies the owner of the universe mathematically. They picked the perfect color to go with that name, and they basically can't crank these things out fast enough because of the demand. Because God has simply said, there you go, time to bless them. Because as they sell their products, it increases the mathematical glory of my son Jesus in all the universe. It's that simple. It's actually that simple. And so, DASANI water. Chances are you can't go into a single grocery store without finding it because they're so successful. DASANI water. If you're really good, you go to Walmart equals 88 exactly, or you'll go to Safeway equals 80 exactly, and you'll buy your DASANI there. Okay. And by the way, the word water boils down to 8 exactly, of course, and the word water in Latin, which is aqua. How many words stem off that word aqua? Aqueduct. We're going to solve, by the way, the word aqueduct, it takes the word aqua, which is 40, and then adds another 48 on top of it. So an aqueduct is 88 in 8 letters. And so Jesus instantly takes the glory for all aqueducts, which were the most important inventions, or pardon me, which were, the most important inventions certainly in Jesus' day. The Roman aqueducts were the greatest achievement of that era, and they're just massive. They're so beautiful. They're so huge. They're so precise. You look at the aqueducts that the Romans achieved in their time, and it's just stupefying. It's totally stupefying how accurate the levels are, the structures are. Without any modern tools, most of their structures didn't even use some kind of mortar to fit the blocks together. The blocks were just placed perfectly together with each other, by calculated weight and design to just totally uphold the whole thing. Well, the word aqueduct equals 88 exactly in 8 letters. Furthermore, that begins with our beloved word aqua, which is 40, and then it finishes with the word duct, which is 48. So I know what you're thinking right off the bat. Jesus takes the glory for every single duct, in the universe. Just think about housing and heating and all the ducts involved. Air conditioning, it's an air duct, It's probably the most important thing for, all the space shuttle missions, and it's the duct. It's a line that typically travels necessary air. Well, aqua is the word for water in Latin, which equals 40 exactly. So does Jesus have the market cornered on water? Absolutely. He's totally got he's totally got water cornered for himself mathematically, because he created water. Of course it's loaded with 8. It has 8 at dead center. It's 88.888%, eliminate by weight, and just through the roof. So aqueduct. An aqueduct is 88 and 8 letters. You can split it in half. So the first half of the word, aqua, and duct equals 40 and 48 respectively. And the aqueducts of the Romans to this day are World Heritage Sites. They are basically the most famous sites from the Roman era, is the great aqueducts. So, and when the Romans were speaking the word water in Latin, all through for hundreds of years, the only word that people ever spoke with respect to water, at least in the majority of the greater developed world, is aqua, which is 40 exactly. Okay, so there you go. We just took all water, all aqueducts for the glory of Jesus. And so now we come along at this point in history, roughly, just in the year 2013, and a company decides to create a brand of water, a brand of bottled water called DASANI, which equals 48 bang on the nose, and lo and behold, they're just selling like hotcakes, because God is doing what he's been doing for thousands of years, glorifying himself mathematically in the number 8. That's why DASANI is selling like hotcakes. That's why everything has been blessed beneath the brand, all the management, the employees. It has nothing to do with, so-called brilliant business, strategy, and we concocted this amazing brand, and we worked so hard to promote the DASANI brand, and look at all that we did, and how intelligent we were to pick DASANI and the color scheme, and we just knew, it's like, no. It happened by divine ordinance for the glory of Jesus. It has nothing to do with the little mortal men walking around here. It's all about Jesus, okay? And he says, look, he ordained the whole thing. So a DASANI equals 40, blue equals 40, and DASANI, and a blue DASANI therefore equals 88. So they really hit it right on the head, because the word aqueduct equals 88 as well. A blue DASANI equals 88, aqueduct equals 88. In every way, it's just totally hit right on the head. And so that's why DASANI is so successful. So what's the big screaming takeaway for you and your children and your grandchildren? I'm telling you right now, you have to name them intelligently and perfectly to the highest level of mathematical glory for Jesus equals 888 if you want them to be historic. Of course, you must. You want to give them the maximum blessing. Well, God, the God of the universe, says you only have one chance to give them that first perfect name for the mathematical glory of my son Jesus. You only have one chance. That's how perfect God is. Folks, if you meet those insanely high profile and highly intelligent and perfectionist business people that don't have the time of day for someone that's indecisive, well, consider the God of the universe, how efficient he is, how glorious he is, how perfect he is. When he says you only have one chance to do something, you better listen up and you better get it right if you want to get the blessing. God doesn't waste time. He's the king of efficiency. He gives an order, you obey. Do it. Receive the blessing. Name your children to the highest level of the mathematical glory of Jesus Christ that you possibly can. I recommend a 3-digit all-factor 8 number that divides by 8 perfectly. Just look at Usain Bolt's name, and you will get it. And all the other names that I presented in all the other videos. Look at Usain Bolt. He's a great example of a good mathematical name that God says from the day he was born, oh look, there's a kid that's got a screaming mathematical glorious name for Jesus equals 888. I think I'll make him, nearly 6.5 feet tall with huge massive legs that are capable of sprinting faster than every man has ever run since the Garden of Eden. And he's just going to make everyone else look like a joke on the track because he's got the most mathematically glorious name for my son Jesus equals 888. And that's exactly how it works. That's 100% how it is in the mind of God. All the other sprinters might as well go home because Mr. Kingpin 8 showed up and Jesus equals 888 is just going to put on a show. So you must name your children to the highest level of mathematical glory for Jesus equals 8. Usain St. Leo Bolt equals 184. That's a 3-digit all-factor 8 number. It divides by 8 perfectly. And then if you spell the saint out in full, you add 24,888 so that you end up with 208. That's a 3-digit all-factor 8 number. It divides by 8 perfectly. That's why I'm saying you must give your children names as a great starting point. 3-digit all-factor 8 numbers that divide by 8 perfectly. Do it, and you will see God bless them exceedingly. And do the same with any business that you start or any invention that you discover or name. Okay? Name it to the mathematical glory of Jesus if you want it to be historic.